And recording. So, 2020 has been an interesting year so far, to say the very least. Uh, there's been a lot of bedlam, a lot of craziness, but there's been a handful of good things that have come out of it, namely having to do with music releases. And a bunch of bands that I grew up listening to in high school have actually been putting out new music. They're remarkably still around. I know Marilyn Manson put out an album not too long ago. Rob Zombie is going to be releasing a new album technically today. I believe this is going up on the 30th. And I'll probably be reacting to one of those songs later on. And then Deftones. They released Ohms back in the end of September. But in addition to that, it's also the 20-year anniversary of White Pony. So to commemorate that, Deftones is releasing a remix album in December called Black Stallion. If you check their YouTube page, they just uploaded one of the songs. So they have Ninth Party, the Purity Ring remix. So 4.5 minutes. I don't remember who the female person is who's singing alongside Chino in this, if it's his wife or if it's just like another singer. But I specifically remember the moaning. That's a big takeaway from this song. I remember carrying a CD player on the bus to school and just listening to White Pony over and over and over again for like an entire month and still not being sick of it. And Purity Ring, from what I understand, they're like a electronic pop band. So I'm kind of curious to see how they handle remixing a Deftones song. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Go! Just distorting the chords.
Sharp and chrome, come sit inside my bones. All the fiends on the block. I'm the new king. I'll take the queen. Sit here.
Pause it right there. I was curious to see if they were actually going to try to replace some of Chino's vocals, and it looks like they did a little bit there for the chorus. And the female voice like doesn't bother me, considering that the original song has a female singer in it, not in that part, but later on, the moaning part. Yeah. So it sounds all right. The drumming, it was an odd kind of beat at the beginning, but as the songs progress, it's actually easier to kind of follow in, and it just sounds like the normal chord progression from the original song, but just with this weird sort of ethereal effect kind of on it. So yeah, it does sound like really kind of like poppy, but also at the same time, it has like this weird dreamlike quality to it, but not a lot is happening. Like this is like they're not making too many changes to this, so I can't be too mad. But this breakdown that's coming up, if they are going to like adjust things and like actually like try to remix this a lot, this breakdown that's coming up is probably like prime real estate for that. Let me back up a little bit. Yeah, so far, not too bad. It wasn't necessarily what I was expecting, but if it's a pop, electro, or electronic band, like it makes sense the direction they're taking this. Original vocals. No keyboard. Like that. Swell. Not too bad. It sounded pretty safe. Like not a lot was changed. Chord progressions are all the same. A lot of the vocals are still the same. They kind of doubled up on some of them with the extra female vocals. It sounded good. I think for them releasing this song first, like a good month and a half ahead of the release of the album, this is kind of just the taste to say, hey, like they might not change the songs too much, but they're just kind of like modernizing them for like a new audience that is more into like the electronic sound, but not quite in the way that Nine Inch Nails does their remix, or even going back like a Revolting Cox or Ministry, the way they do their remixes. But obviously that's a much harder genre. And those are more like electronic forward anyway, more like industrial sounding. So this is pretty safe. It's interesting. Like I said earlier, it does have like a kind of dreamlike quality to the way they kind of digitized the chords. That second half sounded a lot better than the first half, but to be fair, the original song's kind of like that too. More, yeah, down tempo and kind of just you puts you in a place of euphoria a little bit, just feeling the moans and just getting kind of like an emotional response from it. But Yeah, like, does this make me want to hear Purity Ring? Not necessarily, but as a take on a Deftones song, it's been pretty okay. It's good. I like it. I'm curious to see what direction the rest of the songs go because I know it's a bunch of different producers tackling each song, uh, producers and bands. So they could very easily go into an even poppier direction or a much heavier direction. And that's generally how remix albums are. So I'm just very curious. But this was a interesting taste.